Hey friends, it's Joe from DadBod. Today it is around 74 degrees in Tokyo and 5:40 in the morning. Now we were going to do a recovery run, but I've been really sickly and have a lot of tummy trouble, so we're going to walk today, which will be fun. Let's pop you on my head. But yeah, I think that'll be the topic of the day, honestly. Also, it's about to start drizzling, so it might get a little wet. Yep. Although this is one of my favorite ravines when it's raining. I ran this in a hurricane once. That's a little sketch. But luckily, if I slipped off into the ravine, it's about a 12-foot drop. It would hurt, but I wouldn't die. It's not like the Grand Canyon. And then I know where there's access points to climb in and out, so I'd probably be okay. And it's frequented enough. And even with the heavy rain, it's not really like rapids, but you should still respect nature. Alright, let me pop on our workout and go. So today is a great conversation on modification, which we have all the time. So I don't know if I've let on over the last week or so, but like sickness has just been flowing through our house, man. It has been awful. Influenza A for all the kids. Last couple days, kids have been puking. Although honestly, like, kudos to them. They are learning how to run to the toilet instead of just yeeting their vomit all over their sheets. Kari did have one of those incidents, but for the most part, like, they're doing really, really well. So that's getting better. And then Felicia got hit, but she's on the mend. And then yesterday it was my turn. So that's what I'm navigating. Oh, there's a little fish or something down there. Cool. So, yeah, man, yesterday was a sick day for me. It was hard to get anything done for work. I had some school assignments due that I turned in a little bit late. You know, and there was just this like rolling list. I got a bloody nose because I was stressed out. I get that sometimes if I get really stressed. I got a weak nose, and I had like my first bloody nose in a while. I got my nose cauterized last year. That was pretty crazy. So I went like a whole year without one. So now I'm like, shoot, do I need to go do that again? But I'm gonna wait it out and see if it heals. But yeah, like total fatigue, body aches, nausea all day. I've been on a heavy regimen of Culturel and Pepto-Bismol because I would prefer not to puke if I don't need to. That said, I have vomited Pepto in the past and it's not that great. Also, not really a drug you can find in Japan. So we stock up on it in the US and bring it with us. Or at least I haven't seen it. They probably have a substitute for it. But over-the-counter drugs in Japan are a lot weaker than in the US. Let's see. I'm just gonna check the camera because for some reason I'm feeling like I didn't turn it on, but I'm probably fine. Yeah, we're good. Pop you back up here. They may notice Oji-san's a little farther along the trail today. It's because we had a rough start. Hemiko woke up a little early and during the night. She was just really irate, so I got her tucked in on the couch with some Paw Patrol, comfy cozy blanket, a little bit of acetaminophen because she's teething. I was like, she'll be good for 20 minutes. And she knows how to find mom in the event that things escalate. But I think she'll be right where I left her. I'll tell you what though, a walk versus a jog, the right choice today. And it's funny, I have like, because I'm having gastrointestinal challenges with this stomach thing, so like I have all the bathrooms mapped in my head on like if something bad happens. Although if I puke, I'm definitely turning off the camera. But typically how I navigate illness, and everyone's different with this, some people do a complete stop, right? You get sick and it's like no gym, no cardio, no lifting. and I'm not coming back until I'm perfect. Like, that's one mindset. I'm not a doctor, not a physical trainer, so seek your own medical perspective on these things. For me, I try to still go and just modify or reduce intensity unless it's putting me into a worse state, if that makes sense. So like this morning, my abs hurt from all the gastrointestinal issues. Gosh, I love these stairs. Yeah, just wasn't feeling right. And I was like, well, I haven't thrown up yet. Definitely am not running today. Like, that discernment was made. But I sat on the couch for a while and I was like, I'm not gonna go. Not gonna do it. Ew. I was like, it's just walking. Walking's not that intense, it's not that bad. And I was like, maybe I just need, like, I was thinking about the bloody nose I had, because I know a lot of that stuff. It's a mixture of, like, the pressure, like atmospheric pressure, my stress levels, which increased blood pressure. Had a lot of salt that day. You know, I was like kind of processing. I was like, I probably need to go have a little bit of reflection by my river and just chill the heck out and figure out, like, why am I so tight? Because it's more than just illness. Like, today I have a pretty big conversation with a very senior leader in J&J, and if I'm honest, like, I'm not prepared. I'm winging it, and it's at 11 o'clock, which is not when I'm at my best, like 11 p.m. And I'm just really guarded and scared. And there's a lot of things I wanted to have done by the time I got to this discussion that I haven't. So I'm trying to process through that. So all those things gave me the discernment of, like, well, go for a walk, Joe. And if it's not going well, come home. You don't have to walk a full mile. So maybe that's where you're at today. Or in the future, that's where you'll be, right? It's like, you're gonna get strep throat or influenza A, COVID, if that thing's still bouncing around. And just use your best judgment. Like, you might skip a week and just start on the next week. The hardest part of that will be the long run, that jump up. If you miss one long run and double up like an extra 2 miles, like, that's tough. So you're gonna need to set aside some extra time to run walk it. But you might have already, like, reserved your half marathon, right? So, like, your half marathon's not gonna wait for you to be sick. But you need to make sure that sickness, or, you know, down the road, maybe you do get an injury, right? Maybe you get shin splints, or you pull a quad, or something like that. Like, you got to make sure you recover enough that when you get back into the program, you don't re-injure right away and take yourself out. I actually had a really good long distance coach in high school. I had a couple. Baldwin? I think his name was Baldwin. Who knows, maybe he'll do this program someday. But I just remember, like, I've had football coaches where if you're hurt, this is like down the line of, like, toxic masculinity, right? Like, I had coaches of, like, if you're hurt, they would say, like, don't go to the trainer, because if you go to the trainer, you're gonna miss practice, you're gonna miss a game, you're gonna miss, like, they did not care at all about the long-term health of their players. They just believed that you could muscle your way right through an ACL tear, like that kind of mindset, right? Like, you don't see the trainer unless you're dead. You know, it's like not helpful at all. But it's one mindset, it's one approach. How gozaimasu. You know, so it's one mindset, one approach. Whereas Baldwin, like, and maybe my football coach would have thought Baldwin was babying his runners, but like if they were having issues with their shins or someone was feeling tired, or they saw they were running with a little bit of like a twist in their hip, like they were favoring a leg, he'd be like, you're out, you're totally done, like we're gonna get that taken care of. Because for him, like if you keep going past the point of strain, you're gonna get into trouble. And he would rather sacrifice, and this was even during like track meets and stuff, he'd just pull a runner from a track meet. He'd be like, no, you're not running, because he didn't want to see someone pushing themselves to go as fast as they can hurt and then be out for the season. And that mindset's like very, very wise, but it's just different. How gozaimasu. So like those are your trade-offs, right? Is like you might be somewhere between that, but you can take the same mindset to when you're starting to be hurt, when things are sore, when you threw up last night, or you have diarrhea, or you're super fatigued. Like it was neat, near the end of yesterday's workout we were pushing, right? Or at least I was pushing. I don't know what you were doing, I can't see you, right? Because you're in your own house and I recorded this video. But like I was pushing, I was like, man, why are these presses so hard? Like there's internal dialogue happening. I was like, why is it so? I was like, why am I so hot and so sweaty? And after taking a shower and then like feeling kind of sustained wooziness throughout the day, I was like, oh, you know what? I bet I finally caught what my kids have. Like it clicked, like, oh, you're sick, Joe. You know? And I laid out for most of the day. Most of the day I was just out. We're at 0.56, so we're gonna go to 0.65 so we can end at our reflection walk. You know, so like sometimes if you're going hard and you're not aware of it, like it will push your body too hard and then you will get sick, or it will reveal the sickness that's already there. So like I was pushing into something I didn't know. And this morning I looked at what was planned and I looked at where my body was at and I said, no, like we're not jogging today. That doesn't make sense. It doesn't mean that I'm failing this program or that I'm not going to show up tomorrow to lift, but I am already thinking about tomorrow. I'm like, well, if I'm in the same state as today, what do I do? Like, how do I still be there for you so that you could do this program? And how do I still take care of myself? And how do I find balance with that? And like, if I fall off a cliff and go super low tomorrow, like worst case on the Google Classroom, it's not even a worst case, it's just real life. Like I don't have to record a workout video for you. You're on day 31, day 32-ish. This is your journey, which will be different than mine, and I can just point you to the 6 Moose lift tutorials and you can show up for yourself and rotate through the 6, track your results, and then we'll catch up on the next run or the next thing, right? Like, and maybe I'm out another day and we're supposed to go and do a fartlek, 2 minutes on jogging, 1 minute off, walking, I think for 1.5 miles or 2 miles or something. Probably 1.5 miles. Like, you can do that without me. I just have to tell you what it is, because you're starting to know the program. So that's the thing I would consider, right? It's like, you know the drill. All right, 0.66, so we're gonna walk it back. And I gotta show up for myself, take care of myself, modify as necessary, and I have to model that for you, because it's already happened in this program, or it will happen, where you're gonna get something really sore, something that's gonna twist the way you don't want it to twist. You're gonna push a little hard, ego's gonna show up, and you're like, that's not right. And then you're gonna have to decide, you know, maybe you got too over eager on your presses, and your right shoulder is crunchy and just not that right, and you get to the next lift workout. What are you gonna do? How gozaimasu. You know, it's like, what are you gonna do next? Like, are you gonna throw out the whole workout? It's like, well, no, you can do presses on one side if your other arm's okay. You can still get your squats. You know, you just might not do a shoulder raise because that's gonna mess you up. You show up and do what you can do. So it's kind of a mix between Baldwin and those toxic football coaches. Or at least that's where I think you should land, but I'm not a doctor. And we really tried to make this program accessible for those who are heavier set, those with pre-existing health conditions and injuries. So I like to bring you into my journey so you can see how I work with my bag of broken bones to still achieve a goal. But I want you to work with your bag of bones and do what's right for you and really build that discretion over time. But likely, like our prior default of discretion is to just get discouraged and do nothing. That's probably not what's going to keep you going. But again, I always speak against that ego because we desire immediate results, right? And that can hurt us too. Like, you're gonna do push-ups through this whole darn program. I hate push-ups. I do them, I hate them. But push-ups are great because you get a wonderful measure over time, you know, and how much depth you can get. Can you get off your knees? Can you do 8? Can you do 10? Can you do 15? And eventually, can you do 20? Is where I'm at right now. That's not where the program's supposed to be at. I think the program's at like 10 to 15. I just need to push where I'm at and find that edge. But tomorrow, if I feel like I do today, it's gonna be like 8 push-ups on my knees. That's enough. That's all I need. This has actually been a really good walk for me. And we're about to enter the green zone. In case you're curious what the green zone is, in the event that there's an international incident concerning my GI tract, I'm within striking distance of a bathroom right now. Back that way, not so much. I would have had to run up and over the steps towards the river. Make the workout longer and harder. Also, if any of you fall in here, there is a ladder right there to climb out, okay? Just want you to be aware of that safety feature. I'd also suggest that you don't fall into the river, but the ladder is there for you if you need it. Man, it is pretty today. Nice and quiet. So anyway, that's your mini podcast for the day. Find your balance between Coach Baldwin and your toxic football coaches. I had one coach tell me, this is just like the stupid crap people, like, you have to be careful who you let talk to your kids, right? Like, I'm a football coach. And I think being me, I tattled on him because it just didn't seem right. I tattled to my mom. I was like in 8th grade though, so it was a little different. But like, he wouldn't let us have water. And he said something like, water makes you weak. And I'm like, water does not make you weak. Water is essential for your body to function appropriately. Yes, you can train to be able to go a little longer and harder without water so you can stay on the field, but if you don't hydrate your body, you're not going to perform. Like, I almost said that's why God made Gatorade. You know, like, water makes you weak. I think my mom like wrote a huge, because she was very overprotective. I love my mom. I think she wrote a really nasty email with like all the data and science behind water. And later I had football coaches that did not have that mindset. it's just like the old ways, right? We always run into the old ways mindset. Back in their day, and this generation's soft. Well, we are a little soft, but we're also reasonable. I'm glad I got out here with you all. Glad I got my body moving. I needed it. Because I just woke up so anxious about what I will or won't accomplish today. And it's really not the right mindset. Like, I just gotta show up for myself. The rest will fall into place. I will say my glutes are sore from those side step up things. Although I'm fatigued and sore across the board, so it's kind of difficult to measure, honestly. And I'll take a cold shower, give myself the naps and rest that I need throughout the day. There's my emergency bathroom. Only problem with that one, it's very buggy, scurry. I also used a porta potty the other day and stood up my head into a spider web. That was terrifying. That's the absolute worst. All right. Perfect, y'all. You made it to a mile. 1.04. Great job. Hope you enjoyed the walk. Maybe some of you jogged. That's cool too. We get to go enjoy our little reflection spot. How gozaimasu. So I guess today for reflection, just think about what you're gonna do when your body breaks down from illness or injury. How do you want to navigate those situations? What's going to be your working framework? And just spend some time kind of planning, because if you have a plan, then you'll be able to execute when it comes, as opposed to being overwhelmed. And you're still going to need some flexibility. Yeah, give it some thought. Maybe look at how you've done it in the past, and if you want to do it the same way or a different way in the future. Whereas I'm just going to think about what I'm stressed out about. See if I can find a little bit of rest. Ooh, that's a gnarly spider. Not a fan of that. Whoa! Yo! How's this for your rest and relaxation? Do you see it? That's representatively like as not as big as my palm, but it would definitely take up a lot of space on it. Whoa. See, I feel like it could jump to me right now. I don't even know how I would react because there's a bridge right here. I know better than to get closer. I'm gonna respect this distance. That's a rice tall glass full of note for me. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed your reflection. I'm like, I am not sitting back on that rock. All right, friends, tomorrow we have Moose Lift. I don't know which stretch you have beforehand, but it'll be Moose Lift 2B. So hopefully it's not too terrible. And I'll see you around, friend.